guys and welcome to today's video. Today, as the title suggests, I am doing a book haul. I have not been on YouTube for like 2 months almost, which is crazy, but honestly lockdown 3 here in the UK was a hard one. I feel like it was quite difficult for most people, especially if you were at home. Like, fair enough, for example, my boyfriend was working the whole time, so I feel like he didn't really struggle with it that much. It was actually probably a little bit more normal than the first and second one, but for me it was pretty hard. But today I have a bit of a different video. It's not a beauty one. I've been feeling a little bit uninspired about like beauty and fashion stuff. I think because the weather isn't actually that good at the moment in the UK. Like, it's okay, but I think I've been able to wear a dress like once, and I just want to be able to wear really beautiful dresses, and that hasn't happened yet. But if you are interested in beautiful dresses, I am posting a few more summary bits up on my Instagram, so do follow me on Instagram. But today I have a book haul, and it is a huge book haul in my opinion anyway. They were all free books. I realise I say the number 3 the same as free, like F-R-E-E, but these were F-R-E-E. And something I kind of wanted to talk about, I get a lot of my books, especially recently, because I put myself on a bit of a book spending ban because I was buying a lot of books and not reading enough of them. So I put myself on a spending ban, and I haven't bought a book this year, I want to say. I don't think I have bought a book this year, because I was also buying like charity shop books, so they were quite like cheap and affordable, but it was just getting a bit ridiculous. And then I was also buying off Amazon like some new books, and eBay. Sometimes I buy secondhand books off eBay, but to be fair, I then found a loophole, and then I found people giving away books on the internet, and I ended up picking up those, which has led to me today, I think I'm hauling 17 books, which is insane, which means I am actually going to go through my books and clear some out because it's just too many. Like, I just don't need them all. I don't think I'm going to be reading them anytime soon. There's some books that I'm just like not overly inspired by, so I don't think I'll come to them anytime soon, and I have so many books, and I'm probably going to keep accumulating books, so it just seems like a waste to have them on my shelf. I'm sure lots of you want to know how I'm getting so many free books. If you keep an eye out on stuff like Olio, Gumtree, Freecycle, Facebook Marketplace, places like that, you'll sometimes find people who are usually moving house and are therefore unhauling a huge amount of books and giving them away for free. And as long as you can collect them quite quickly, it's okay. And usually you have to collect all of them. So for example, this pile here, which I think is probably about 12 books maybe, I actually had to collect 40 books from her, which I was actually totally okay with, because I just got rid of the other ones, and it's because she was moving, so it just made her life easier. Now, I also have been getting a lot of questions as to what I do with my old books, so I thought I would kind of go over that. So often I do put them on Olio, where else do I put them? Actually, I just pretty much put them on Olio. Occasionally, if I've bought the book, or for example when I was like getting rid of like university books or stuff like that, I would put them on We Buy Books, and they buy your books back. Or sometimes I'll put them on eBay, but more often than not, like, it just takes too long for them to sell on eBay, so either We Buy Books or I'll give them away for free. So the other option is on local book sharing shelves, which we have quite a lot locally. If you live in London, a lot of train stations have them. There's a website where you can look them up. Not all of them are on this website, but a lot of them are, so yeah, it's just worth having a little look. These came from 2 separate people. You end up kind of with a big bundle of a similar genre, in my opinion, and usually if you find someone that has like 3 or 4 books that you'll kind of like the whole load, because that's just, people typically read from a couple of genres rather than from like 15 different ones. For example, like, what was I looking at today? I'll quickly show you one on Olio. Today I was looking at this set, which is someone giving away some Lee Child books. I don't even know who Lee Child is. Actually, I've definitely seen these covers, but I know I'm not interested. I just got like a few other books. Can you see that? I'm not interested in these at all. Potentially, if you liked the top book, or like it was a book that you were tempted to read, then you would like the rest. Oh my god, I'm like 6 minutes in and I haven't even started this haul. When I collect a big pile like this, I will go through, decide what I want and what I don't want. What I don't want will then go to my friends, and if my friends don't want them, then I will, probably because there's loads of them, I would rather just quickly get rid of them and put them in a sharing bookshelf. Sometimes I will take off a sharing bookshelf as well. At the moment I've got so many books, so unless it was a book that I was dying to read, I definitely wouldn't pick up from them. Let's get started. I don't have that much background knowledge to all of these books because I didn't buy them, but I have like looked into them and I want to keep them. I know when other people do hauls, they like know, it's like they've already read the book. Like, I don't understand how they are so knowledgeable, but really I'm here to hopefully get a little bit of feedback from you. What should I read, what should I not read? I know a little bit about some of them, but let's get started. I'll start with the first pile, which is from one person, then I'll move on to the second pile, which is from someone else, and then I think I'll show you what I'm unhauling as well. So the first one is Animals by Emma Jane Unsworth. It's got a little Caitlin Run quote on the front, which I can't speak today, which says, "I wish I had written this book." I think it's a book about friendship. That's a topic that I find quite interesting. I think she's a British writer. I'm tempted to read this. I don't know much about it. It's quite a short one, and honestly at the moment my attention span for books is pretty short, so there's actually a couple that I've kept in this pile which I'm not 1,000,000% sure I'm keeping, because I'm uncertain if like my attention span is there and will it be there over the next, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months. I haven't read very much this year at all. I'm actually hoping that this video will kind of help motivate me to start. I think the book I'm going to read next though is Heartburn by Nora Ephron. I've heard a lot about Nora Ephron, but I've never read any of her books. And then on the back the quotes are from India Knight, Nigella Lawson and New York Times. I always find the people that leave the quotes quite interesting, because if it's someone that I'm quite interested by, then I will be more likely to read the book for sure. I think this book covers a little bit about food, and I recently realised that I really love listening and talking about food and eating food. Eating food is obviously my favourite, but like in terms of podcasts, I really love listening to food podcasts. It's almost the only thing I listen to, so I'm interested to kind of read a little bit about food. So I think this book talks about pregnancy, marriage, and I think the main character is a food writer, so very tempted to read this, and this is gonna be my next one. And honestly it's partly because it's so thin that I think I can hopefully like dive into it and get really engrossed in it, because at the moment I have not been that engrossed. This book is a bit mucky actually. I do need to give this one a good clean. Then I have Nigel Slater, Toast, The Story of a Boy's Hunger. Now again, I think this is probably relating somewhat to food, and like I said, I'm really interested in reading more books about food. And actually this one sounds really cool. It's a story told through the thought of food. Oh my god, it really is food based. Okay, interesting. Then I have Naomi Wolf, Vagina. I feel like you can guess what it's about. It's about female sexuality. I don't know if this will be one that I tackle soon though. I do think it's interesting, but maybe not yet. My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I've kind of heard mixed reviews about this, if I'm completely honest. It is about someone who kind of like took a year off, which, who has that luxury? I don't know. I definitely don't have that luxury. Do let me know if you have read this. I think it's a very popular one. It's one that people talk about a lot, so I think it is quite an interesting one to read. Then I have Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud, Anne Helen Peterson. I believe Anne Peterson is BuzzFeed's culture writer. I think it's about female celebrities and pushing society's boundaries. Then we have The Pisces. I'd never even heard of this book. This is by Melissa Broden, and I think this is kind of explores like dating and breakups and online dating, that sort of thing. But yeah, one I think I will quite enjoy. And then I have a non-fiction book. This is Invisible Women: Exposing Data Bias in the World Designed for Men, but this is by Caroline Criado Perez. I almost bought this book a while ago. Honestly, I'm not that into reading non-fiction anymore. I used to read lots and lots of non-fiction, but now I find it just a bit heavy, and like usually I just want something a bit lighter and like a bit of an escapism, which you just don't really get from non-fiction. But it is one I'm going to hold on to. I don't know if I'll tackle this anytime soon, but kind of with all these books I'm willing to hold on to them for a little bit of time, and then if I decide they're not for me, then I'll just get rid of them, because I didn't buy them, so I'll put them back out into the world if I decide they're not for me. So that's the first lot of books. There was a few other books. Often I get books I've already read or already on my bookshelf, so obviously I don't keep those. And I actually have a bag of books to get rid of in my living room at the moment. And then this is pile number 2. This one I picked up this weekend. A slightly different genre, I would say. First I have is Crime and Punishment. This one I'm really unsure if I want to keep or not. I think one day I would like to read this, but then I'm unsure if it's worth me keeping it until that one day comes, because the font in this is tiny. It is really quite thick. It's quite a full-on book. I don't think I'm there mentally at all at the moment. I think still in like lockdown mood, and I just don't think this will be like the relaxing book I want. So do let me know, like, should I keep this or should I just put it back out into the world? Because inevitably I'll be able to find a Crime and Punishment in the future, even if it's in a charity shop for like £1. So I don't know if I'm gonna hold on to this. Probably not, you know, because I need the space, and it's a big one. It's taking up space. Then I have The Confession by Jessie Burton, which is a Sunday Times bestseller. There's a little quote from Elizabeth Day on the back, which says, "Without a doubt, one of the best novels of recent years," which really tempts me to read this. It's been quite well rated by quite a few people that I follow, and I believe it is a LGBTQ book, which I don't know why, I've said this before, I find that same-sex relationships in books, I find them a little bit less cliche. The blurb actually really sold it, and because Elizabeth Day said it's one of the best novels of recent years, that's probably going right to the top. I'm really tempted to read that, and lots of people that I follow on Goodreads have given that a great rating. Then I have A Girl is the Half-Formed Thing by Amira McBride. This one actually seems quite heavy, so thank God that it's quite short. The main character's brother has brain tumour. I think it kind of explores that, as well as sexuality and just feelings, thoughts, that sort of stuff. So it sounds interesting, but it does sound quite heavy, so do let me know if you have read this. Then I have Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. I kept this because the people that I follow on Goodreads that have read this really loved it. So although I don't know much about it, I may come to it later in the year, probably no time soon. Okay, I then have American Dirt, which honestly was one of the books that drew me to pick this up first. So generally I only pick up books if there are like 2 or 3 books at least that I really want to read, and I'd say there's probably actually just 3 in this list of books that I already wanted to read previously. Maybe four. This was definitely one of them, but I have since heard that it's quite a controversial book. As you can see, it's called American Dirt and it's by Jeannie Cummings. So I think it's actually about a Mexican bookseller who escapes cartel violence with her son. I think the controversial issue with this is that Jenny Cummings isn't Mexican, so she's kind of like trying to tell a Mexican person's story, which is obviously a little bit problematic, but I have heard that this is quite a good book, so do let me know if I should still read it or not, because I feel like I always feel like so conflicted when it comes to stuff like that. Then we have Still Alice, which talks about Alzheimer's, which it does sound very interesting but sounds very difficult. It's about Alzheimer's within a 50-year-old woman. It sounds like it's going to be heartbreaking, but one to consider. Then I have The Light Between Oceans, which I hadn't heard of but seems like a really beautiful book. This is based just after the First World War, and it's a story of a husband and wife who live in a lighthouse. I think that they've had a few miscarriages, and then a boat washes up with a dead body on it, which I think is a man, and a baby who is alive, and then I think the story kind of goes from there. It does sound very interesting, and it's based in Australia, and at the moment my favourite thing to watch on YouTube is Bondi Beach. Is that what it's called? Bondi Rescue, which is based on an Australian beach, and this is also based on an Australian beach. I suspect that is the only correlation between those two, but it still makes me excited to read that. Then I have My Sister the Serial Killer, which again is a very popular one. It is a thriller slash mystery, which isn't typically my genre, but I've heard that this is so good that I might give this a read. And this is actually based in Nigeria. I don't think I've ever read a book that's based in Nigeria. I don't think so. Not as an adult anyway, maybe when I was younger as a child, but not recently. So this is The Prisoner of Heaven, Carlos Ruiz Zafran. People have said that this is not his best book. Well, a few of the reviews I read said this is not his best book, but I still heard this is quite good. This is a historical fiction. I think the person who I picked the second lot of books up from is quite into historical fiction. It's based in Barcelona, but I really don't know much more about this book other than that, to be honest, but it was enough to kind of pull me in. I have heard that this is magical realism, and I don't typically like anything magical, so if you have read this, let me know how magical this is, because maybe I'll skip it. Then I have Memoirs of a Geisha, which I know absolutely nothing about. It's, I think, based in Japan. Sorry, that's like the only thing I know about it, and even then I'm not certain. I think it's based in Japan. Again, I went on Goodreads and it had good reviews, which is why I'm keeping this. I should know more, but I do not. Then I have We Are Liars, which is a book I've wanted to read for ages, and actually one I probably will read soon. One of my favourite books ever, actually probably my favourite book ever, one of, is Call Me By Your Name. I just love it. And then if you look on Goodreads and you type in Call Me By Your Name, this one is always very highly recommended. The reviews of this aren't the best. Still gonna read it because I think I will like it. I forgot to mention, apparently they're actually making this one into a movie, and I always like to read a book before the film comes out, which is why My Policeman is top of my wish list. I have looked in charity shops, so I'm trying not to buy new books at the moment because I have loads of books, and like I just find that sometimes it gets a bit wasteful, and especially because like My Policeman isn't a new book anyway. I'm tempted to get it at a charity shop, but I haven't been able to find it. Then I have To Kill a Mockingbird. I feel like the only person on the planet that has not read To Kill a Mockingbird, but I think I would love this book. So I'm not sure when I'm going to read it, but it's a classic and I do want to read it soon. And then I have Circe. This is by Madeline Millers, who also wrote The Song of Achilles, which is another book that I'm dying to read, but I haven't got around to yet. This is really not my sort of genre. I think this is about Greek gods, but I've heard really good things about this, so I do want to give it a go, because I feel like I haven't explored Greek gods enough for me to comment on whether I do or don't like them. This book is how I'm going to do that. Actually, now I'm going to quickly clear out those books. I was going to film that, but I'm not going to. Maybe I'll just come back right at the end to show you which books I think I'm going to get rid of out of my own little collection. Also, this shelf is a mess. I really need to do like a big bedroom overhaul, tidy, which I really need to do sooner rather than later. Okay, so here's my little pile of books I'm going to get rid of. I just done literally like a 4-minute clear out, but I think these are just books I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to ask my friends if they want any of these, and actually I suspect most of these will be taken by my friends. And actually I might even ask one of my neighbours, but the first one I'm getting rid of is Tin Man. I did read this, but honestly I can't remember, I gave it a 4 out of 5, but I can't remember much about it, so I couldn't have loved it that much. So it's going to go. Then I have Christmas on Primrose Hill. I mentioned in my last clear out that I was just going to hold on to this because maybe I want to read it in the future, like next Christmas, but realistically I've got so many other books I'd rather read. I don't know. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Maybe I'll regret it, but it's going. Then I have The Dollhouse Factory. I've had This Isn't Great. Actually, it doesn't say it is fantasy. Do I want to keep this? Okay, let's see what people that I trust rate it. Nah, I feel like people have given it like an average review, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Then I have Frankenstein. Like, I was gonna read this, but then I decided I don't want to, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. I read Rebecca. I didn't love it. I don't know why. It just wasn't for me, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And then also I did read Convenience Store Girl. Again, I didn't love, maybe I just didn't get it, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm going to get rid of it. If I'm not going to reread it, I don't think there's any point in me keeping it, or even if I'm not going to recommend it to a friend, there's no point in me keeping it. So those are the ones that are going to go. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. Oh my god, something is falling and I don't know what it is. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you all very soon. Probably not so soon with any book content, but with some sort of content. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you don't, and I shall see you all soon. Bye.